I had other people's idea on how everybody should look, how everybody can act, and I forgot that we all don't have to be the same.
We had gone to Uganda to adopt 2 other children, and while we were there, just asked what was the next greatest need, which child had the next greatest need. And they told us about Shamira.
I went back on a trip
6 months after.
to take Shamira to a doctor. I called Amy that night, and
He woke me up and he said, I think I've met our daughter. Her name is Shamira.
she's burned. About 65% of her body was burned, but it was crippling her. So her arms were webbed to her body. Someone had poured boiling water on her. Because Shamira was a little baby, was thirsty, and was asking for water, and it was a stepmom who was obviously not happy that this child that was not hers was asking for water.
I generally didn't have any hope at all. I didn't think that I'll grow up and I'll have a family that I love, that love me.
The first step was for Ugandan to say they couldn't help her.
Mm-hmm.
They had done everything they could do to help her, and that she needed the help, and that they were willing to let her come to America. That really was the first step. And once they agreed, we actually just moved things really fast.
Todd Reeves called me up one day and heard about some things I've done with some other patients and asked if it was something I'd be consider or have interest in.
Hey, I have a little girl in Uganda who's burned really badly. And before I could say another word, he said, I will help you.
I think I got sick on the plane. I don't really remember, but we finally got here. It was so unique to me, from how everybody talked, dressed, and eating constantly. To me, that was a big deal. And I was just so overwhelmed with the whole thing.
Jessica, my daughter, we took them and Shamira out to ice cream. They got to be pals for a little while. I think that really helps in just getting to know each other, but more for Shamira to know me, get comfortable with me and the family before we start this.
Right after the surgeries, he'll come in and say, it looks amazing. But I wouldn't see anything. I said, what is he talking about? And then later on, I started healing, and then I looked, I was, oh wow, he was actually right. This looks good.
If any one of us had this experience living in your own hometown, that would be courage enough. But her doing that and then sharing my vision of me wanting to hit the Grand Slam home run, and she was with me on that. And like I kept saying, anytime you want to stop, we can stop right here. She's like, nope, let's keep going.
God put the right people in my life for a lot of reasons, and when I didn't believe it, he used them to believe it for me so that I could eventually get there. I thought, if there's someone out there who wants to be open to what God's been doing for them, and they can just feel the love, because like we all want to be loved and accepted. So if that means me being vulnerable and posting those photos and sharing to anybody, whoever gets to see it, so be it. So that day, I actually prayed about it, and then I shared it. We're not created to fit in with everything and everybody. That's exhausting, because I was exhausted being what everybody wanted me to be. And in the moment I just started wearing my identity, I felt so free.